Is it hot in here? Or is it just me? The biggest solar storms in 20 years have created new radiation belts around the Earth. Lots of news to share with you today, ladies and gentlemen. Solar storms, core reversal, military buildup, what you need to know. I'm Rex Bear, reporting to you live in a garage, not down by the river, but at high elevation. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Brace yourselves for an explosive episode as we uncover the latest earth-shattering events and their global implications, from the historic solar storm creating new radiation belts and mesmerizing auroras to the unexpected slowdown in Earth's inner core. We're going to provide critical updates on the raging fires in California and Washington. Plus, as tensions rise globally, we analyze the strategic military buildups in the Middle East and the Pacific and what they mean for potential conflicts with Russia and China. Morning Star, provided by Dow Jones. Gold taps all-time highs as weak U.S. job data raised recession fears. Future prices ease back Friday, but trades higher for the week. Gold futures turned lower in Friday dealings, easing back after reaching a fresh record intraday high, but stayed on track to post their first weekly gain in 3 weeks. Weaker than expected monthly U.S. employment data fed recession fears, helping to lift prices for the precious metal well above $2,500 an ounce during the session. Prices then moved lower in the wake of 3 consecutive session gains. You know, I had Colin Plume on the other day. He's the CEO at Noble Gold Investments, and we were talking about the upside of gold and silver and how it's been such a great hedge against inflation for decades. You know, actually, if you go back thousands of years, that's what they were using for exchange in ancient Sumeria and Babylon. I mean, it's been used as exchange for thousands of years, and there's some amazing upside right now in the precious metals markets. Now, there's obviously never any guarantees. So you look at what the money funders are doing, the big banks, they are usurping tons of gold. You look at the industries like solar panels as an example. Somebody was watching a show I did the other day. They said, were you promoting solar panels? No, I wasn't promoting solar panels. I was talking about how each solar panel needs about an ounce of silver. The amount of solar panels right now is incredible, but by 2025 and 2035, it's through the roof. You're going to see a huge increase in solar panels, and you need silver for solar panels. Now, one of the cool things about Noble Gold Investments, not only do they have an A+ rating, Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews. I have purchased precious metals through Noble Gold Investments. I have friends and family that have converted their 401s through Noble Gold Investments. If you convert your 401 or IRA through Noble Gold Investments, they will gift you 10 ounces of solid silver. You could take a 1-ounce Trump round. These are limited editions. You get 10 of these. Or you could get a 10-ounce solid silver bar, U.S. American silver bar. Your choice. Let them know. They're giving free ebooks as well, how to get out of the rat race. The ebooks are awesome. Go to leakprojectgold.com and or noblegoldinvestments.com. Call them 1-877-646-5347. All right, let's go back to the next article. Halo! Man, what an awesome day today, right? Beautiful day today. Right now, foxweather.com. Strongest solar storms in 20 years creates new radiation belts around Earth. During unusually strong solar storms, a temporary third belt can form between the two permanent Van Allen belts. May's solar storms were so strong, the strongest in 20 years, producing northern lights as far south as Florida. NOAA issues severe geomagnetic storm watch. A severe geomagnetic storm is now in process and in progress, according to NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center, raising hopes for a dazzling display of the northern lights on Friday night, while also putting infrastructure operators on guard for potential electrical effects from the solar storm. This year's historic solar storms, which created beautiful displays of northern lights around the globe, also made more lasting changes to Earth's magnetic field in the form of additional radiation belts. And this is according to new data from a small NASA satellite. May's space weather event, created by powerful blasts of energized particles from the sun, was the strongest in 20 years. Coronal mass ejections associated with solar flares sent particles towards Earth, causing massive geomagnetic storms with conditions that created aurora borealis seen as far as Florida. That's pretty cool. Look at this image right here. Will you just look at it? It's purple and glittery. They used a CubeSat inner radiation belt experiment. They found evidence of two new radiation belts within the Van Allen belts. There's two permanent main belts. One is made up of trapped high energy radiation particles from the sun. The second from interactions of cosmic rays with Earth. According to NASA, during unusually strong solar storms, a temporary third belt can be formed between the two permanent ones. Here's an image showing the giant donut-shaped rings of particles called the Van Allen belts surrounding Earth and the additional temporary belts added after May's solar storm. So is this more protection against radiation? I mean, I hope so, because the sun's pretty intense. Scientists say these new belts formed after May's geomagnetic storms could last months, possibly years. The CIRBE team will continue to study the data and research to understand the latest additions to better understand how long it could last. Between the 10th of May and the 15th, several active sunspot regions released multiple X-class flares, X-class being the most intense. This is from NASA, Sun and Space on X. Remember the big solar storm in May? Scientists have just discovered that in addition to creating spellbinding auroras, the storm may also have made a temporary ring of charged high-energy particles encircling Earth. That's pretty cool. Take a look at this real quick. Boom! Wow. Like Earth is a speck of sand in size comparison on a monitor to the sun. There's 3.9. 5.8. That's just amazing. I gotta say, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So, first article, next article. This is from Intel, or actually, I'm sorry, this is from The Verge. Intel is laying off over 15,000 employees and will stop non essential work. After losses, the chipmaker is cutting $10 billion in costs. That's an entire town. That's actually 4 times the size of the town that I'm in. Intel, on a long, long road to recovery, over 15,000 workers will no longer be coming along for the ride. The chipmaker just announced it's downsizing its workforce by over 15%. Oh, man. This reminds me so much of 2007, 2008. That's when I worked for corporations. I mean, that's when I was working for a Fortune 100 company, and they were downsizing. I saw the writing on the wall. I transferred to San Antonio. The store I was at closed down. They closed down a bunch of stores to cut costs, and that was in the travel industry. So 15%, it's going to save him $10 billion, a part of a cost-saving plan for 2025. It's going to mean a headcount reduction of greater than 15,000 roles. Intel tells The Verge the company currently employs over 125,000 workers. Layoffs could be as many as 19,000 people. Wow. This article is from Live Science. Auroras to light up the U.S. this weekend in the aftermath of a cannibal solar eruption. A chain of solar outbursts, including a cannibal coronal mass ejection that slammed Earth on Tuesday, will bring lovely auroras to parts of the northern U.S. and most of Canada this weekend. Here's where to look. This is over northern Minnesota. Absolutely beautiful. This article is from phys.org. Massive solar wind disturbance caused Earth's magnetosphere to fly without its usual tail. From Nathaniel Sharping, American Geophysical Union. Let's take a look at this real quick. Like a supersonic jet being blasted with high-speed winds, Earth is constantly being bombarded by a stream of charged particles from the sun known as solar wind. Just like wind around a jet or water around a boat, these solar wind streams curve around Earth's magnetic field, or magnetosphere, forming on the sunward side of the magnetosphere a front called a bow shock and stretching it into a windsock shape with a long tail on the night side. Dramatic changes to the solar wind alter the structure and dynamics of the magnetosphere. An example of such changes provides a glimpse into the behavior of other bodies in space, like Jupiter's moons and extrasolar planets. The article was published in the Geophysical Research Letters. Li Zhenshen and colleagues report unprecedented observations of a rare phenomenon created during a coronal mass ejection. Goes on to say CMEs typically travel faster than the Alfvén speed at which vibrating magnetic field lines move through magnetized plasma. It can vary with the plasma environment. A CME in 2023 disrupted the normal configuration of Earth's magnetosphere for about 2 hours. The researchers analyzed observations from NASA's magnetospheric multi-scale mission to learn about what occurred. This is the paper, Geophysical Research Letters, Earth's Alfvén wings driven by April 2023 coronal mass ejection. We report a rare regime of Earth's magnetosphere interaction with sub-Alfvénic solar wind in which the windsock-like magnetosphere transforms into one with Alfvén wings in the magnetic cloud of a coronal mass ejection. On the 24th of April, 2023, NASA's magnetospheric multi-scale mission distinguishes the following features: unshocked and accelerated low beta CME plasma coming directly against Earth's day side. The magnetosphere dynamical wing filaments representing new channels of magnetic connection between the magnetosphere and footpoints of the sun's erupted flux rope. Cold CME ions observed with energized counterstreaming electrons, evidence of CME plasma captured due to by reconnection between magnetic cloud and Alfvén wing. Sounds like Alfvéns. The Alfvéns, or Alf, maybe that's where they came up. I'm sorry, I'm digressing here. Alfvén wing field lines, the reported measurements advance our knowledge of CME interaction with planetary magnetospheres and open new opportunities to understand how sub-Alfvénic plasma flows impact astrophysical bodies such as Mercury, moons of Jupiter, and exoplanets close to their host stars. Said it as fast as I could. MMS observed a rare regime of magnetosphere interaction with unshocked low-beta CME plasma. Wing filaments represent dynamical channels of magnetic connection between the magnetosphere and footpoints of the sun's erupted flux rope. Cold CME ions observed on closed field lines, likely generated by dual wing reconnection. I wonder if that creates more radiation inside of the Earth, or like inside of the magnetosphere, or it cuts down on the radiation going through the magnetosphere. Now, I wanted to share this again because I've had a lot of people comment, the Earth's core isn't reversing. How do you know? Have you seen it? Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody knows that. If that happened, we'd already know it. And they haven't even watched me explain it in this article. So I'm just going back once again. This is where the data comes from. This is the latest data that I can find on the subject. I found the article on CNN, and then I found the paper, the scientific paper on nature.com. So the name of the paper is Inner Core Backtracking by Seismic Waveform Change Reversals. The abstract, they talk about how they take earthquakes and seismic data to basically peer through Earth without being there and see this structure within the Earth and observe its movements. And based upon the data, it suggests that it's slowed down so much, it's reversed. So let's read this real quick. I'm just going to read it once again. The solid inner core suspended within the liquid outer core and anchored by gravity has been inferred to rotate relative to the surface of Earth or change over years to decades based on changes in seismograms from repeating earthquakes and explosions. It has a rich inner structure and influences the pattern of outer core convection and therefore Earth's magnetic field. Here we compile 143 distinct pairs of repeating earthquakes, many within 16 multiplets built from 121 earthquakes between 1991 and 2023. In the South Sandwich Islands, we analyzed their inner core penetrating PKIKP waves recorded on the medium aperture arrays in northern North America. We document that many multiplets exhibit waveforms that change and then revert at later times to match earlier events. The matching waveforms reveal times at which the inner core reoccupies the same position relative to the mantle, as it did at some time in the past. The pattern of matches, together with previous studies, demonstrates that the inner core gradually super-rotated from 2003 to 2008. And then from 2008 to 2023, sub-rotated 2 to 3 times more slowly back through the same path. These matches enable precise, unambiguous tracking of inner core progression and regression. The resolved different rates of forward and backward motion suggests that the new models will be necessary for the dynamics between the inner core, outer core, and mantle. Let's see if we can look at some figures here. Let's take a look at this just real quick. These are the seismic ray paths and event locations. This is the data that they used to come up with the paper. Woo! Did you get that? Did that make sense? When you have time, go to the paper, click the link. You can look at the sections, read through the paper, and then look at the figures. And you can scroll through here as well. And if you want to look at it full size, you can do so. The schematics of the rotation observations, the dates of similar, somewhat similar and different pairs of repeating events, the extended data, the waveform changes for all events. The waveform changes are located here to the right. You just click the full size image and you can look at that. So there you go. That's where the data comes from about the Earth's core potentially reversing. And it's definitely slowed down. And the time frame of 2003 seems like right around that time is when the sun got more intense, or appeared to get more intense, where I was at anyway. And at that time, I was in the Northwest. But the Northwest is, I don't know, it seems like right around 2000. But I'd like to get your thoughts in the comments. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Next article. This is from fire.ca.gov. This is the Park Fire. 24% contained, almost 400,000 acres. 4 counties, Butte, Plumas, Shasta, Tehama. You can see right here. Oh, look, it's close to Paradise. Wow, there's been a lot of fires out there. And it looks like there's some other stuff going on close to there. This was updated today. It started on the 24th of last month, 7/24. Reports say that it was caused by arson or something with a car. I read about that yesterday. You can go back and watch the video on that. Also, the quarry fire in Colorado. West Deer Creek Canyon Road, Littleton. This was updated just 36 minutes ago. Let's update it right now. Let's do a quick update and see what's going on. Only 10% contained. 480 acres. We've got level 3 evacuation orders in Deer Creek Mesa subdivision, Sampson subdivision, Maxwell subdivision, McKinney Ranch, Murphy Gulch, Cooster. You've got an evacuation warning, level 2 set for Silver Ranch, Jennings, Silver Ranch South, Homestead South, Hilldale Pines, Oldman, West Ranch. We've also got active lookout alerts here. Here's the road closures. South Valley Road and Deer Creek Canyon Road, Deer Creek Canyon Road and South Cougar Road, Deer Creek Canyon Road at West Ranch Trail, Pleasant Park Road, and Cooster Road. Support our mission. Here's a photo from Jeffco Sheriff. Here's a quarry fire. It says right here, we got some helis out there dropping some fire retardant or water. Here's a notice to evacuees. So be prepared, not scared. Get that under control. Good job, firefighters, first responders. This is an interesting article. Weather Watch, space rockets helping trigger noctilucent clouds. Research shows strong correlation between summer launches and the frequency of wispy, silvery blue phenomena. You don't say. Noctilucent clouds are a rare and special sight, only visible at latitudes between 45 degrees and 80 degrees. These shimmering, wispy, silvery blue clouds can occasionally be seen high in the sky on a clear summer's night. But in recent decades, they have been making more frequent appearances, and now a new study reveals that space launches are helping to spawn them. Made up from very thin sheets of ice crystals, noctilucent night-shining clouds only form under special conditions. High up in the dry mesosphere, about 50 miles above Earth's surface. The clouds need dust particles, moisture, and very cold temperatures to form. Explosive volcanic eruptions sometimes produce these ingredients, and meteor showers do too. In the 19th century, noctilucent clouds were only seen once every few decades, but now they can be seen several times every summer, with July the most likely month. So what's changed? Okay, so this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. What they just said right here in the paper. Did you catch that? In the 19th century, noctilucent clouds were only seen once every few decades. A decade is what, 15 years? No, or is that a generation? A decade's 10 years. So once, or seen a few times, once every 40 years. And now you'll see them several times every summer, with July the most likely month. So what are they doing in July? Well, Writing in the journal Earth and Space Science, researchers show a strong correlation between summer rocket launches and the frequency of noctilucent clouds. Each launch spews out tons of water vapor that, if the wind is blowing the right way, settles out and helps to trigger cloud formation. Along with rocket launches, climate change is also thought to be playing a role, making noctilucent clouds a more regular feature of the night. And with all of the testing that the money funders want with climate change, geoengineering and attempts to cool the earth and make the world a better place for people like you and me, of course. It's because they care, folks. They care dearly about you. They love you so much. They love you. They want equality. They really, really care. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Okay, so back to the paper. It's going to be a more regular thing, And what do you bet that they're going to figure out ways to launch rocket? Oh, wait, there are. Never mind. Next article. This is from military.com. Army doesn't have enough soldiers for potential wars with China and Russia. This is according to the review committee. The Army is undermanned for a conflict with China or Russia, potential future fights that could expand across several geographic regions. A new report by a committee tasked with reviewing the 2022 National Defense Strategy has found. The service specifically does not have the number of soldiers needed for what they would likely need in an intense island hopping campaign in the Pacific and subsequent urban battles in major metropolitan areas, according to the Commission of the National Defense Strategy, which was created by Congress. Wonder what they're getting ready for. They're just like, well, just so you know, we need more. Dwayne The Rock. This is the article I was looking for. This is the one. The military.com article. The Army bet $11 million on The Rock and the UFL ginning up enlistments. It may have actually hurt recruiting efforts. The Army is seemingly having buyer remorse after a $11 million marketing deal with the United Football League and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The high-dollar, high-profile deal likely didn't lead to a single new Army recruit and may possibly have had a negative impact on finding new enlistments. Internal documents and emails reviewed by military.com show the service may even seek to get some of its money back. Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Somebody got time shared in that deal. Wah, wah. So, yeah, just saying. That was interesting. So it's tough to get new recruits, it seems. I mean, even if you get Dwayne The Rock and the UFL out there, and I don't know, folks. Maybe it's just a sign of the times, People like, do I really want to sign up for that? The U.S. sending aircraft carrier, warship, and fighter squadrons to the Middle East as regions brace for Iranian retaliation. The U.S. is sending a carrier strike group, a fighter squadron, and additional warships to the Middle East as region braces for an Iranian retaliation. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln Strike Group to replace the USS Theodore Roosevelt Strike Group, which is currently operating in the Gulf of Oman, according to a statement from Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh. In addition, destroyers and cruisers capable of ballistic missile defense will also be sent to the Middle East and the Mediterranean Sea. The statement does not say which warships have been sent, but 2 U.S. destroyers in the eastern Mediterranean Sea took part in intercepting the barrage of strikes Iran launched against Israel in April. It's getting hot out there, folks. Pray for everybody. Newsweek, China sends ships to North Pacific waters in major power move. Well, that's okay because top U.S. Special Ops units held a major exercise off Alaska, 45 miles from Russia. The Polar Dagger brought several top Special Ops units from the Army, Air Force, and Navy to a small Alaskan island closer to Russia than the U.S. mainland. You can read about this at taskandpurpose.com. As part of Operation Polar Dagger, the U.S. Army MH-60M helicopters assigned to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne. Some of America's elite Special Operation Forces held a major exercise off the coast of Alaska from July 5th to August 2nd, bringing together some of the most secretive units and equipment from the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Photos released by the Pentagon this week show that the exercise brought together stealthy MH-60 helicopters from the Army's 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Navy Special Warfare SEALs, combatant craft assault boats, and Scan Eagle drones, and rarely seen Air Force C-146 Wolfhound transport aircraft. Officials with Northern Command told Task and Purpose that the exercise also included an austere, resuscitative surgical team from the Army's 528th Special Operations Sustainment Brigade. Pretty intense, man. Next article, Gulf of Mexico dead zone larger than average, scientists find. What is average for a dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico? I'm just wondering, is that normal? Well, it's just everything's dead there, all the fish and stuff can't live there because of, what should we blame it on? What should we blame it on, Bob? Let's blame it on the people. It's all your fault, ladies and gentlemen, all of you. So let's read this real quick. This is from NOAA.gov. NOAA supported scientists around today that the year's Gulf of Mexico dead zone, an area of low to no oxygen that can kill fish and marine life, is approximately 6,705 square miles, the 12th largest zone on record in 38 years of measurement. The figure equates to more than 4 million acres of habitat potentially unavailable to fish and bottom species, an area roughly the size of New Jersey. Jeez. Scientists at Louisiana State University and the Louisiana University's Marine Conservatorium, LUMCON, led the annual Dead Zone Survey, July 21st to the 26th, aboard the LUMCON research vessel Pelican. The annual measurement is a key metric that informs the collective efforts of the Mississippi River Gulf of Mexico Hypoxia Task Force, a state-federal partnership which has set a long-term goal of reducing the 5-year average extent of the dead zone to fewer than 1,900 square miles by 2035. While the NOAA-supported research surveys provide a one-time snapshot of the dead zone, the 5-year average captures the dynamics and changing nature of the zone over time. The 5-year average size of the dead zone is now 4,298 square miles, more than 2 times larger than that of the 2035 target. It's critical that we measure the region's hypoxia as an indicator of ocean health, particularly under a changing climate and potential intensification of storms and increases in precipitation and runoff, said Nicole LeBouf, Assistant Administrator of NOAA's National Ocean Service. The benefit of the long-term data set is that it helps decision makers as they adjust their strategies to reduce the dead zone and manage impacts to coastal resources and communities. In June, NOAA predicted an average or an above-average sized dead zone of 5,827 square miles based primarily on Mississippi River discharge and nutrient runoff data from the U.S. Geological Survey. The measured size fell within the uncertainty range of NOAA's ensemble forecast, demonstrating the overall accuracy of the underlying models and their ability to be applied as tools for nutrient reduction strategies. The area of bottom water hypoxia was larger than predicted by the Mississippi River discharge and nitrogen load for 2024, but within the range experienced over the nearly 4 decades that this research cruise has been conducted. Nancy Rabales, PhD professor at Louisiana State University and LUMCON and co-chief scientist for the cruise. We continue to be surprised each summer at the variability in size and distribution. Look at this. And it's so close to the coast. It is so close. I wonder how many oil wells and how much industry is close to this area and is what's the scientific term I'm looking for here? What's the proper term? Contributed. How much industry close to this region has contributed to this dead zone being so close to people that live out there and fish out there? And it's quite alarming. It's quite alarming, folks. And unfortunately, it's not surprising. Excess nutrients that reach the Gulf of Mexico via the Mississippi Atchafalaya River Basin stimulate an overgrowth of algae. When these algae die-offs happen and decompose, they deplete oxygen in the water as they sink to the bottom. The resulting low oxygen levels cause animals like fish and shrimp to leave the area. Exposure to hypoxia or hypoxic waters has been found to alter fish diets, growth rates, reproduction, habitat, use, and availability of commercially harvested species, such as shrimp. Okay, let's read this. The Hypoxia Task Force. In June of 2022, the Environmental Protection Agency established the Gulf Hypoxia Program to further accelerate nutrient reduction actions by the task force to make significant progression towards the task force's Gulf Hypoxia Action Plan. Nutrient pollution impacts water bodies across the country and in the Gulf of Mexico. It has resulted in a dead zone where low to no oxygen does not support fish and marine life, said Bruno Peugeot. Acting Assistant Administrator of EPA's Office of Water, EPA is committed to its partnership with state and local governments and tribes in the Mississippi Atchafalaya. The Mississippi. I'm sorry. Never said it before. Okay, governments and tribes in the Mississippi Atchafalaya. Okay. Yeah. In fact, thanks to President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, EPA is investing $60 million into this effort. As a result, the Hypoxia Task Force states are scaling up their nutrient reduction strategies while increasing climate resiliency and ensuring benefits are realized by disadvantaged communities. All right, there you go. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Remember to hit the bell for all notifications. Check back daily for new content. We strive to bring you the best in entertainment news. And folks, be excellent to each other and be the change you want to see.